Money, 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 money. That's all I ever hear in this house.
There seems to be a need for sports talk in the Bay Area.
And RBIs with 33.
Hammered to left. Backside of some. Looking up. Out of here. Running it back for Wilmer Flores. It's 4-0.
I'm Jake Lucas. I'm with Dave Greenstein and Joe Starkey.
Jake, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. What the hell is our podcast called?
Count.
Deep left center field and off the glove and out of the ballpark. It's a 3-run homer for Wilmer Flores.
So we're called Hum Daddies because we're Giants fans that have kids. So we're not babies, we have babies. Hum Daddies, get it? All right.
First Giants player with 40-plus RBIs in the team's first 45 games since Barry Bonds in 2001.
High fly ball to left. Hit deep. And out of here. He's done it again.
Hey, welcome everybody to Hum Daddies.
For Wilmer, that's his 7th career grand slam. How about that?
Man, that's how you light up a Friday night crowd.
Back, baby. Welcome everybody, his and hers, you and yours, to Hum Daddies. Yes, we've been gone a while. There's been a lot going on while we've been gone. And
Let's
we're
just
gonna
call it spring break. We took Hum Daddy spring break.
Yeah, an extended spring break. How long has it been? So game 3 of the Warriors was our last one. Warriors Houston, maybe.
We did a wrap up.
It was the Jimmy Butler broke his ass game. This is the last time we spoke.
Okay. Was that 3 or 4? Whatever it was. Anyway, we're here now. My name is Jake Lucas. I'm joined by Dave Greenstein. I'm joined by Joe Starkey. Joe Starkey is fresh off of the Greek Festival, staple in the community of Oakland at the Greek Orthodox Church. They raise a lot of money for good causes, doing work for the Greeks and for others.
Not for the Turks. Not for the Turks.
Not for the Turks. Dave is located in Napa, wine capital of the world. I mean, there might be places in France and Spain and Italy that have issues with that, but for now, let's call it that.
They can go fuck themselves.
I am in Richmond, California, where I joined you here once or twice with my Steve Young and David Robinson posters from childhood. And let's get into it. First, let's start with what are we wearing and what are we drinking? Let's start with Starkey because he has easily the best outfit on right now.
Well, it's 49ers season as of yesterday. So
How does Giants season?
it is officially Giant season. It is.
Okay.
But I have to turn the brain over, and I'm thinking, I gotta get rid of the Warriors brain, and I'm turning on the Niners brain. And I got the Niners jersey and number 12, John Brody, from before I remember watching football. So I can't really claim I know John Brody, but I like the tradition. It looks like some Kezar Stadium attire,
Yes.
That is like the whitest white I have ever seen. It's great. It really is crisp.
Is this your first wear?
It's my second wear,
Okay.
so it will not maintain this whiteness, but I will try my best.
Yeah, keep spraying like OxyClean on it or bleaching or whatever because it is crisp and clean. It's beautiful. Fun fact also, he was a quarterback when my Uncle Charlie played fullback at Oakland Tech back in the God knows when, 50s. Yeah.
Great.
I hope he makes the Jag-off bus.
Oh, this is Jag-off bus material for sure. Week 4, the Jag-off bus. Be there, be square.
Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Yeah.
Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars come to town, and we're going to get a party bus, and you all are coming, and we're going to have a good time. So I think that is September 28th, Sunday, week 4. Looking forward to it. It should be a big W, just like the rest of our schedule. Have you seen this schedule? It's a delight. We're not going to lose.
The single easiest schedule of any NFL team
Ever known to man.
A decade. since literally the science on this, the math is strength of schedule easiest since 2015 of any team.
Yeah. So I feel like this is a good example of the season to be had. They're going to beat down the Jaguars week 4.
We're not making the playoffs, but that Jagoff bus, I was thinking you're talking about throbbed hog shooting gobs, so I'm glad it's about the Jaguars.
Yeah.
All right,
what are you
Dave,
drinking, Joe?
Oh yeah,
what are you drinking?
Joe, what the fuck are you drinking?
I'm having a beer, guys. It's this thing's called a Ridge Tree Dark Lager. I'm getting special on a Friday night.
Oh, fuck you. Hey, wearing is pretty evident, but discuss it and drinking. Go ahead.
I'm wearing a very skin tight Home Daddy's tee, medium size, and
Paint it on.
Let's Go San Francisco fucking 49ers hat, cap, combo, and drinking.
No cap.
Fieldwork.
Oh, only the best.
Oh,
Milk stout.
There's a theme tonight, guys. Wait for my share.
Not to the Cow Palace, but the Cow House.
Nice.
Milk stout. It is a treat. It is a nice wintry beer in late spring.
Well, it's going to be like 90 all week in Napa next week.
I'm going to get my last, it's good to be back on the pod. Jake, you got a nice, strong tea there. Tell me about it.
And chest, right? I know you were thinking chest.
I almost blurted it out.
This is, we got moss. It's Randy got diagnosed with cancer a few months back. So I bought this. It's supporting cancer. Money goes to some kind of cancer fund, and it's Randy Moss. So I had to get it. I had to support the community.
You do what you got to do.
Yeah. And also, in honor of one of our favorites, I got to throw this bad boy on.
Oh, 42 New York Knickerbockers. Nobody knows what this is except us.
It's not even a jersey. It's like a cutoff tee jersey.
It's the real jersey. This is how they used to have them back in, when was this? 20, probably 09.
You gotta have some real deltoids to put that thing over your arms.
This is an XL too. It's a pretty big jersey, and it's but yeah, this is David Lee, New York Knicks, in honor of their win tonight, taking out the Beast. It sucked that Tatum went down.
Yeah, dude.
No one wants to see a superstar get hurt, but I'm happy for those Knicks. I have a lot of New York family, New York friends. So, hey, round of applause, Starkey. I like that.
All right, yeah. Let's go. Feels like 1994 out here. Come on, Knickerbockers. Take it all the way, baby.
So I'm deathly scared of my darling Timberwolves playing my darling Knicks in the finals. Because those are both Latrell squads that I live and breathe by. They just pump the fuel in my veins. Without Knicks and Timberwolves basketball, I don't know if I'd be here today.
I would love to see that as a final. That's a great final.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to see Ant Edwards playing in New York?
That would be sick. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Best of the best right now. That guy is a killer.
Totally. And I've been cutting back on the booze. I was hitting it hard, so I'm taking a break. But Fieldwork, they're non-alcoholic grapefruit blonde.
Ooh.
It's fucking delicious. Okay?
Well,
so go Fieldwork. Let's get a sponsor from them.
Fuck yeah, Fieldwork.
You would have told me about the Fieldwork sponsor today. I would have, if you had told me, I've been happy to oblige.
It was a happy coincidence, honestly.
Whether you're in Berkeley Fieldwork, the Napa Fieldwork, I'm pretty sure there might be a original one in is it San Leandro? But they're all over, and what quality and what locations. Gotta love it.
Yeah. And anyone trying to cut down but still want that delicious fine craft beer, Fieldwork has some great non-alcoholic options. They really do. Okay, so use that.
Hold on. On that note, have you guys tried non-alcoholic beer in the last few years? It's gotten from 0 to hero. It used to be horrible.
Makes it so much easier to take a break from drinking.
Teresa's first pregnancy was garbage. Second pregnancy, something happened and it got real good.
It's like the mocktail world
too.
Yeah, mocktails have gotten surprisingly better. So you kind of feel
still like $18 at nice restaurants.
That is a little odd. Yeah, okay, you crushed some blackberries in there, but what really happened?
Right. I don't think those high-end spirits are there, so cut the price down a little bit, kid. Anywho, okay, let's get on to the topics of the day. I think we had a nice show, like a comeback show to deal with. And then this little fucker from Arizona, I went to Iowa, signed this contract, and there's a lot of mixed feelings around the Bay Area, a lot of mixed feelings for 49ers fans. So Brock Purdy, the 5'11 and a half, listed at 6'1.5" wonder with small hands who can't play in the cold or the rain, just signed a contract, 181 guaranteed. It's 53 a year. I think Starkey broke it down a lot today, so he might be the most knowledgeable of this whole situation. Let's start with Joe Starkey. Hey, our 49ers have a quarterback that is here to stay. What do you think?
Long time coming. I love it. I feel like could have been a dramatic situation, but I feel like Brock played it cool like Joe Montana and just like, let the drama go. And this is what needed to happen. I know a lot of Niners fans, a lot of fans around the country kind of like, oh, we could do better. Brock Purdy, 53 mil a year. I don't think so. I think this guy is a winner. I think he's proven his ability in the NFL. I'm more concerned about the rest of the team than Brock Purdy. I'm glad we filled this and can get on with the rest of the season, and let's go. I think I love the leadership too. I think he could have dragged this out and made a few more $1 million, but I think he settled for a nice sum of money. If you look at the other quarterbacks in the league, there's worse quarterbacks making the same or more.
I agree. I think both sides could have come. They could have dragged it out. The Niners could have paid a little less. Purdy could have made a little more. But why do all that when you need cohesion and a plan for the year? I'm not very confident in the year because we're counting on a bunch of draft picks, which we'll get into. But Dave, what are your thoughts on? And let's not beat this into the ground like every other Bay Area sports talk thing does, because they're going to be talking about this Purdy contract for the next 2 months. But let's get it over and done with.
No, I mean, Dave, I'll be quick. It's an easy yes. I mean, Brock Purdy had a down year last year, yet still had a QB rating of 96, which last time I checked, if you look at that for somebody's career, is probably top 20 all time. So a down year for Brock Purdy. He outplayed everybody so much so that we almost got this feeling like he's supposed to be, an MVP caliber player every year. I mean, you had injuries, all kinds of stuff that was going against the Niners last year, and the guy still threw the ball pretty well. So, if the chips fall right, the Niners have a great season because they have a bunch of shit teams they get to play, and they walk into the postseason, and maybe they get lucky. Hey, we might find ourselves in an NFC Championship game again. But the reality is you don't not lock up a guy who's been proven. Yeah, you have to put good players around him, but who doesn't need to have good players around him in the NFL? So I love it. And I like the idea that you drafted the guy, you've seen what he can do. It's kind of feels almost like a quick little nostalgia fill for the dreaminess of having a quarterback that you want to have long term. And we've had a lot of short term quarterbacks for a while. So I'm on board.
Nice. Okay. Anything else anyone wants to say? I mean, I don't think it impedes the progress of the team too much. They kind of had this philosophy going forward. That's why they cut some dead weight. And what really is going to turn out to matter the most is the success of these draft picks. The fact that Drake Jackson got cut recently, who was a high round draft pick for them, yet again, a failed defensive draft pick for them. That doesn't speak well. It doesn't bode well of things to come, but you got to have hope, I guess. And that's all the Niners are running on.
I mean, I think I understand the feeling that some people have that he's doesn't have a can for an arm. He's not an incredible athlete, but you know what? He's just a really good decision maker. And you look at Tom Brady. Why was Tom Brady good? Because he could make a quick decision and he was a competitor. And that's all you need. A smart, quick decision maker, a competitor who's, just a dog in the box, man. This guy, I think, is going to win some games for you. I don't think he's going to be scared of the big game.
I think he's shown that. I think that's right. He's also, Tom Brady's like 6'4", and he could play in the cold really well. That's not the skill set of Brock Purdy.
Well, all the NFL stadiums are going to domes anyway, so what do you care?
What? Wait, what? What'd you say?
Half the fields in the NFL are domes, and when you're in the Super Bowl, you don't play in at Soldier Field anyway.
When you're in Green Bay, you do.
Last time I checked, Jake, Joe Montana never won a road game in the playoffs, I think.
No. Is that true?
It's pretty egregious how
their
few
record
road
was
games.
always so crazy.
Exactly, which is the point of you play a great season, you get home field advantage. Who fucking cares about the few games you played in Cleveland or Green Bay over the regular season at the wrong time of the year? Yeah, I hear you. You certainly want to have a guy who can show up and play when it's drizzling out, which can happen in San Francisco. Like, you need to have a guy who can play in some weather. But timing is everything, and if you're in the right place at the right time, the guy is going to fucking show up and put the ball in the spot. If he gets to go to play in Philadelphia in freaking February, we're not winning that playoff game. I'm content with that risk.
Yeah, I think there's been multiple occasions where he hasn't come through at Levi's when it's wet out. But that's like beggars being choosers. He is at the very least, he's a solid mid-tier quarterback, and it's good to have that and something to rely on as opposed to nothing and guessing.
Totally.
Super Bowl in 2026, this January or February, is going to be at Levi's Stadium. So
yeah. So get ready to watch who. Definitely not the Niners. But anyway, let's go over their draft picks and see if they have any chance of making the playoffs. Joe, you broke those down.
Well, okay. So we got, what do you guys think? We got our first pick in the draft, defensive end, Mikael Williams from Georgia.
Run stuffer is his reputation, and he has the length to be a good pass rusher, but he doesn't have the tools necessarily, but apparently he's great against the run, which they were horrible at last year.
Yeah, I think that's a great hole to fill.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, it seemed like I'm going to talk more generally here. The Niners went heavy on the defense initially, and then they kind of spread things out towards the tail end of their draft.
Right.
Getting into the weeds and the picks, I'm not going to do that. But the miss was they didn't hit the O-line enough, in my opinion.
No,
they went one O-line, round 7, second to last pick. I just, unless you're going to go find somebody you're going to sign, and maybe that's the plan, and there's still time to do that, that O-line needs to get solid because Brock Purdy, as we know, he's a kind of quarterback. Yeah, he can make some extra time for himself, but that guy needs somebody who can create some space because he's not throwing over defensive linemen who are 6'5", throwing up the arms. So we need a couple of O linemen to come in there and make up for what seemed to be lacking last year. I think that was one of our weak spots. I mean, defense aside, defense had some troubles too. We were, Warner was holding us together by the threads.
I wholeheartly agree, Dave. Like, unless Trent Williams can play 17 weeks and be a Pro Bowler,
Zero chance he plays 17 weeks.
He's our Steph Curry on the OL.
I just feel like we're a little weak at the O-line. I hope we get somebody in free agency, but I don't know. I think you control the whole game with the offensive line. You control the running game, you control the first downs, you control time of possession, and when you start losing that, the game starts slipping away from you, even no matter how talented you are. So I hope we can figure that out. Seems like we're putting our priority on the defensive line, defense in general.
This tells me that Shanahan still has that cockiness. His whole reputation was you just need a serviceable, semi-athletic O-line to run my schemes because my schemes open holes. My schemes are what you need as long as you just have serviceable, average O-linemen. And he still believes that, obviously.
Yeah.
Because, people say, oh, well, Lynch is the GM. No, Shanahan hired Lynch. It's all his call still. And I think he might be his leash might be, getting a little shorter with Jed York. But yeah, he obviously still believes he can just run his scheme. Maybe he has something up his sleeve that's new because I think the league's kind of caught up to him. Hey, Kyle, people have figured you out, dude. You've lost a lot of games. So I think that's where we are with the O-line. I also don't like they drafted another 2 very undersized receivers. Guys who are like 5'9" and 5'10" with who's the guy they had from the Bills? Marquise, right when Shanahan started. He was do you guys know who I'm talking about? He was like 5'9". That was their number 1 receiver for a couple of years. When they
look it up, keep going.
Dark times.
Anywho, Yeah. So Shanahan loves these kind of guys.
Wilson?
What is that?
Anyway, never mind.
Okay. But anyway, yeah, I don't like drafting undersized receivers when you need both lines to fill. So that pissed me off. But I like the
Marquise
early
Goodwin.
Goodwin. There you go. So that kind of archetype for a receiver is what Shanahan likes for some reason, and he got 2 more of them, and I don't think we need that at all. But that's 2 draft picks right there down the drain.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, but that's what it seems like.
I'm curious about Upton Stout. I watched some of his highlights, and he was the kind of player that nobody really went at him because he played for Western Kentucky, so they always just avoided him. It seemed like that's what I heard. And the scouting review is like, oh, just don't go at Upton Stout because he's the best player on a very, in essence, weak college defense. So I'm curious why they drafted him if he's that good. Also, why would he go to Western Kentucky? But will he be that kind of lockup, kind of slot cornerback and guy who can come off the edge a little bit and stop in the running game? He's very undersized, but he had like some crazy ability to bench. Like I think he outbenched everybody in the entire like NFL draft, the
That's
combine.
cool,
So
that sounds
cool.
awesome. I'm
Yokes. I mean,
this
yeah,
guy. I'm starring in his name.
yeah. So anyway, I love to see what the guy's made of and how he comes in because you never know. I'm an undersized guy. I like to think that I play bigger than my size, so I always look for those guys to be the next, thrill.
Well, Niners have had like 20 of them over the last few years, so good luck.
I'm excited about this in general. We got Brock Purdy, which is get the drama out of here. See a New York Post, and we got the best schedule going here. The lowest winning percentage of any 2024 schedule. We'll take it. I think this is going to be, we'll take this advantage. I think we have a decent conference here. The Rams, the Seahawks, and maybe the Cardinals will be decent this year. So I think it's not nothing, but I don't know. I'm hoping for 10 wins, man. I think we can get 10 wins.
Well, let's prove it. If they fall flat in their face again, there needs to be some real shakeup about, the leadership situation that I've been complaining about for 7 years.
I think the Shanahan is on. It's this year. If he blows it and they go 7-10 with his schedule, and there's not a lot of injuries to show for it, and all the rookies that they drafted don't really show up, I think it's time to reconsider.
And I think Jed York kind of got that realization too, and that's why he cut so much salary.
Yeah.
Because I have the hunch Shanahan was like, oh, these guys are worth the price. And then as they kept falling and as they kept not performing, Jed York was like, okay, enough listening to this guy's absolutes. He's out of absolutes. So let's trim some fat.
It feels a little too timeline-esque, kind of like the Warriors, where we got a bunch of old guys that we're trying to hang on to while we got a whole bunch of rookies coming in at the same time, which I don't know if that's like a solid strategy for a winning team, but I think it gives us an option for the future.
Yeah.
It's a little more comforting when the Warriors actually had championships under their belts, and the Niners are now known as the biggest choke job in the NFL for having the talent they have.
Yeah, there's not a lot of, to your point, Joe, there's not a lot of middle of the pack veterans on this team to kind of coagulate the two sides of this team. A lot of young, a lot of old, and hopefully they commingle well, because if they don't, we'll see.
Good riddance, Debo. Also, I heard a story. Have I said this on a podcast yet about how he shunned the kid fan that asked for an autograph? He laughed in his face. It's a story I didn't know about Debo, but apparently he's a huge asshole to fans, and that sounded like a good vibe to get rid of. And he was just so toxic this last year. Everyone hated his guts eventually. So thanks for the number one, Debo.
I couldn't care less about Debo anymore. Goodbye.
Yeah, but that is kind of moved on. That personality of the team has gone. Now it's kind of a new look, new feel, younger, not as cocky, not as complainy. Hopefully, we'll see.
Right.
What's Brandon Ayuk status? Is he ready to go?
No. There hasn't been an official update on him.
It's May. I understand, but
Yeah. But we'll see. I think they're listening to offers for him, but you don't really want to trade a guy when he's coming off of ACL, MCL, whatever.
All right. So we haven't talked in a little bit. I was wondering if you guys had any dad stories that you could share with the crew. I'll start with one if you indulge me.
Please.
So let's see. Mother's Day weekend last week, my wife went out with some other moms from the kindergarten class, and so I was watching the two kids by myself, and I also was awarded some tickets to the Warriors game. It was game 3, and so I was packing the bags for the two kids to go to my parents' house. They're going to babysit for the night. And so while I was packing the bags, I come back and I had Kendall. She's 2.5 years old. I had her drawn some pictures and things with some markers. And I come back and she's got Sharpie all up and down her legs, her stomach, her arms, everything. Just not the washable markers, but freaking Sharpie.
Where did she find the Sharpie?
Good question. Yeah, dad fail, I guess. I was trying to help my son do a thank you card thing or something. So I wrote it out in Sharpie, and she found the Sharpie and just drew it all over herself. So I got in huge trouble.
Joe, I have an almost identical story right off the bat. It's short and sweet, but literally yesterday, was going to a Mr. Tyler Nation's 40th birthday party.
Hey, happy birthday, dinner. Tyler. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And we're about ready to pass Adrian off to the babysitter. And Adrian decides that she wants a pen and she wants to write a card, as she had seen Dad with a card and pens. I give her a pen and she starts kind of cruising around, drawing a little bit. And then all of a sudden I look over and she's covered in blue ink. And I'm like, oh no. And I mean, I don't know how often you guys have had ink come out of a pen, but that shit gets everywhere and fast. And all of a sudden it's on her, it's on me, and it's like there's shit everywhere, and we're like trying to get out of the house, and I'm like, I got blue all over myself and I have to look like a presentable human being at a nice restaurant. It was, hey, dad life. It's harmless until it's crazy.
I mean, you should have seen the look on the preschool teacher's face the day I picked her up that Monday. They were just like, what did you do to this girl?
Yeah.
Nice. I don't know, something funny about my kids. My daughter has gotten a few new dolls over the past couple months, and her names are pretty funny for them. There's this one little baby that she named Baby Jesus, and it was a girl. And we don't know where that came from. Apparently, I mean, her preschool teacher is very Catholic, but she's like, I did not teach them anything about religion, I promise. I'm like, I don't care, but hey, Baby Jesus.
How does she say it? Can you give me like a little bit of a impression?
What's her name, Mila? Baby Jesus. She sticks with it too. And then a couple days ago, my mother-in-law's in town, and she said, pick out a doll. She picked out a girl of color, like a very beautiful little black girl doll. And we asked her what the name was. She said Bear Shoe at first. Bear Shoe. Okay. And then I said, what's her name again? Is it Bear Shoe? No. And so the last 3 days she said Skeleton House. So the name of this new doll is Skeleton House.
So you got Talladega Nights, Baby Jesus, and
yeah.
Pretty good. Love it.
We keep people on their feet in the Lucas family. Stay creative.
Oh, guys, let's get into the dubs. Let's
talk.
Let's get in there. Let's get into this. But let's do it from. I want to take this time to say, real quick, we didn't see it the way we wanted to end. Obviously, everybody knows that. But I want to focus on the positive, good shit we saw all season from all the different players in the Warriors, because we had dark times about maybe game 50, 55, where we're all just kind of banging our heads on the wall. And then we saw the light. Maybe we saw a little too much, got us a little bit too excited. Nonetheless, saw a lot of good things.
Microwave. I don't need the beeps on my mic. Do a podcast. Okay? Shut that shit up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Dubs talk.
Yeah, right. I mean, I agree with you, David. It was a roller coaster of a season. It went from wow, this team what we came out of the gate hot. I can't remember, like 12 or 15 or something like that.
12-3, I think.
Yeah, 12 of 15, yeah.
And then we were horrible for a good stretch there. I think we were below 500 soon after.
That was when Milton got hurt. That ended the whole.
The Milton meltdown.
That was like a lifetime ago. I'll tell you.
It feels like it was 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the Jimmy thing happen, and that was fun. That was hella fun. I enjoyed the shit out of that.
Absolutely.
What a great moment just to have that guy on the team and have the whole fresh feeling of a whole different Warriors dynamic. It was dreamy.
I don't really remember a basketball team that went from so dry to pretty damn unstoppable like that. With
full health, like the pundits who know nothing, especially like ESPN's so full of shit, that changed the Warriors from being like not even on the radar to being in talks of being a title team, which is gnarly. That's insane for a trade of one guy, and you get rid of one of your best players that people forget about. Andrew Wiggins was a huge part of 22. It was just a wild turnaround, and there's Warriors fans annoy the shit out of me because we've had 4 titles. We've discussed this before. Growing up, you never thought we'd have one. So people fail to see the positivity in what happens over the course of a year. Like the expectation of all these bandwagon fans is to win a championship every year, and that's not how this shit works. So
a lot of luck has to happen.
Yeah, and the Rockets series was incredible the way they won that. But you guys can talk about it more.
I'm curious if you guys have this. I've felt like I go the presentation that Curry puts out now. Does Curry look like he's having a good time? If Curry looks like he's having fun, I have fun watching the Warriors. And so like when he was super down, like we're mid. We're a very mid team. I was like, this is the most depressing team. I don't want Curry to feel like this about playing basketball because he has so much joy when he plays it well. It's so fun to watch. And so when Jimmy came along and the joy came back, you're just like riding this like Curry fun wave. And I just watching that guy have a good time on the court to me is like, that's the best part.
I'll tell you the other reason why you care about Curry being joyful. He plays a lot better when he has some joy. 100%. I mean, we are winning games when he was happy with Jimmy. I mean, and we were losing games when he was sad as could be. So there's a reason why you care about that, not just because for the entertainment value, because we win games when they're clicking.
They definitely.
He's sad, he is a turnover machine that is one of the most obnoxious players to watch in the entire association. When he's on, he is one of the greatest players you've ever seen in your life. That's an absolute magician.
Absolutely.
So those two, that juxtaposition, I mean, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't walk away from the season without thinking like what could have been if we had Curry, if we had 2 butt cheeks on Jimmy Butler. I feel like it could have been. We could have had a chance. I don't think we would have won necessarily, but I would have loved to have seen it.
So you never want to see a season end when your 2 stars aren't at their peak. But we knew going in, you go play 4 series, potentially have to play 28 games. There's a good chance that old guys are going to still get hurt, and if they do in that situation, we're screwed. And so it was a high consequence for us.
That Houston Game 7, as beautiful and fun as that was, that need to play Game 7 really fucked. I doubt Steph pulls a hammy without, it probably doesn't happen.
Play the Santa Cruz Warriors Game 1 against the Wolves, and it's a whole different fucking series.
Yeah, and on paper, the Wolves are such a more talented team than the Warriors.
I'll give credit where credit's due. It was really fun to watch how the Wolves whipped that ball around along the perimeter and then found baskets for guys on the inside or hit threes. Like they're really good. Now, don't get me wrong; they turned it over a ton and gave us tons of openings to make comebacks. They did that all year. That's their weakness. They get a little lazy, and if they do that against OKC or Denver next year, they're going to get annihilated. But The Warriors, if we had Curry and they get some of those openings, we would have hit fucking 4 threes in a row and would have been back in every single basketball game.
Yeah, no, I tell you don't want to be on the wrong end of Julius Randle and Edwards being focused is a problem. Those guys can do whatever they really want to do when they put their mind to it. And I don't want to be in the way of that. Those guys are incredible basketball players. In that third quarter in game 4, was it? I don't think I've seen anything like it. Anthony Edwards just did anything he wanted to on the basketball court. That is incredible.
I'm going to tell you one shot in the series. I was like, we're done. And that was end of, I think it was game 4.
Yeah.
At half.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards hits that 3. We pretty much went for double coverage to try and get it out of his hands, and he still hit it after. And we had made a huge run.
17 points immediately after. It was insane. That stretch of basketball was.
That was the shot.
I can't relate that to anything I've seen except for Steph Curry.
That was the death shot.
No, it was, guys. I came to the realization after the last few games, they were like the Warriors of old. Sure, they turned it over. First half, they're just playing with you like a cat and mouse. They were tossing us around, say, yeah, have your fun, get comfortable. And then they fucking hammered us in the third quarter every game.
Every game.
It was a murder.
It was, they're like, let's conserve some energy in the first half. It's like the Durant Warriors. And then, okay, it's the third quarter, game starts. Bye-bye. You guys are getting dominated. See ya. So there was no chance with Steph, there was a glimmer of hope. Without him, there was never a goddamn chance. And we were all
a good point, Jake.
Ourselves. Yeah.
There was just one uppercut that they were waiting to throw on us in the third or fourth quarter every game. Yeah,
it was like a boxing match where you're just playing around the first few rounds. Oh, yeah, throw a punch here, land a couple here, boom, dead. Run.
So we got Knicks who just closed out the Pacers. Knicks who closed out the Celtics.
It'll be Knicks Pacers. Knicks close out Celtics.
Yep. Pacers fucking took out Cleveland. Cleveland's got
Halliburton's on a revenge tour after that.
Amazing. Because I never saw that coming out of the Pacers. I always thought they'd choke.
Dave, are you aware of the player poll that said Halliburton's the most overrated player in the NBA?
No, but that would light a fire under your ass.
And apparently it did.
Yeah.
That was under his dad. Did you see that clip of his dad coming after Antetokounmpo?
Yeah. He got banned from the Pacers arena.
And likely, we got a game 7 tomorrow. Or depending on when you listen to this podcast, Saturday, with the Wolves riding their, beat down of the Warriors, it's going to be a fun new champ. Probably, I mean, maybe Denver wins and they run the table, but I'm excited. I mean, it's been a while since we've had this kind of different layout of 4 playoff teams going into the conference finals, so I'm excited. What do you guys think, though? I'm 6 to at least 9. What do you think about?
It's going to get you to midnight, huh?
I need Knicks Wolves. I don't want to see OKC yet because I don't want them. They've got 2 more seasons to win a championship, and I don't want to see them win 3 in a row. And if they win this year, they're winning 3 in a row.
It's too competitive. Oh, a good point someone made. I saw a comment online saying, "Hey Jimmy, you're not in the East anymore, brother. You can't carry this team by yourself."
Yeah, right.
But the thing about Jimmy is, he was sick for some of these last couple games. He looked like it. He looked horrible.
Podz was sick before that. Like a lot of those guys were getting sick.
Well, Podz was definitely sick. Yeah.
Sick of not having Curry on the court. Bullshit. I mean, whatever. Everybody's dealing with shit. Come on.
I'm excited about this Nuggets team. Have you guys watched this Nuggets team? They're fun too. I don't know.
Yeah. But hold on, one last thing before I forget. The one bet, as we've talked about bets in the past, the one bet I placed on this Warriors series was game 4, Podz over 11.5.
Oh, no.
And he missed his free throw that would have put him at 12. And then he had a layup that was called a goaltending that put him at 13, and then they called it back.
Oh my God.
That bet twice.
That's a rough.
And then he was fantastic in game 5 and 28 points.
Right. I was waiting for that game a little earlier, but yeah.
Everybody was.
Man. I thought I was so down on him. I'm like, damn it.
And then he
strong. Too late for old Podz. But
hey, well, speaking of that, let's go through the Warriors real quick here. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. I know we're pushing the envelope here on all the topics we want to cover, but just a quick round on each guy. Give me your quick little, quick 1 minute or so on the impact they made this season and where you see them with the Warriors in the next, year or two. And, besides the Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, maybe we start with JK, who had a fucking phenomenal.
Well, he's gone.
Playoff series. Probably, but yeah, go.
I don't know. Is he gone?
He's an unrestricted free agent.
No, he's restricted free agent, so we can do a sign and trade.
Okay, restricted. Fine.
He's probably gone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
He's very interesting. I mean, the guy, he can score. I mean, when you give him the opportunity and say, "Hey, you're the man. Go score some buckets," he could do it. But you can see he's lacking a lot of other skills.
There's the one we could have stolen that you were at, Joe. JK had a great game, but then in clutch time, just had no idea what to do with the ball, and that murdered 2 possessions and swung the momentum. And you want to give him props, but
I want to combine Pods and Kuminga together to be one player. Like, I can just,
that would be Tracy McGrady.
Wait, what? No, it wouldn't.
No,
who's your McGrady?
Yeah, if you
He's
combine
a lot better than both of those guys times 100.
I was saying if you combine them together.
I'd be Larry
Hughes.
At best.
Let's be pragmatic, Pods. So we're going to say Kuminga's out, right?
He's going to be gone. You can't pay him what he's going to make and have Jimmy Butler and the Warriors have a hard on for Draymond. He's going to be there, and Steph, obviously.
I think it's a sign and trade where you get some young talent and you give them away at a discount price to somebody else.
And he did up his worth a bit in this last series, so that's good.
Hey, good for him. I'm not gonna cry about it. Good luck. Get your 25 points on Charlotte or what have you.
Yeah. Jordan Poole.
He'd be a great East player. Let's be honest.
He'd be a great wizard.
Right.
He's a wizard.
Super good wizard.
Bobcat wizard, you name it. Maybe. Hey, join the Bulls.
Bobcats.
Good.
Love that.
I always call them the Bobcats. I'll never call them that.
I kind of do too. I like that.
All right.
Hey, props to Mike Dunleavy for not being Jordan as far as players who run a team. I mean, they did a lot better than the Bobcats ever did this year.
That's true. Buddy Hield. What an up and down year. He was the worst. He was the best.
Loved him in the playoffs. I thought he was great in the playoffs.
I mean, you can't hate the guy. Game 7 that he pulled off against Houston makes up for anything he ever did wrong.
Incredible. He was
kind of an all-time game.
That disappointed me all year long. I never got what I wanted out of Buddy, and he saved it for the most important time, Game 7.
I thought we would just DNP the guy all postseason, and then he shows up and does that. And I was like,
he was the only guy who could hit a fucking 3 on the whole team.
Yeah.
Honestly, guys, I didn't know what to make of this postseason. There was guys like Moody who was great at the beginning of this the Rocket series, and couldn't get him on the floor for the Super Bowl series.
Bad.
He was one of the best Warriors all season, and then he disappeared completely. It was
there were a few of those guys that were like on and off.
Pods.
Grace Jackson Davis all of a sudden looks good. It was. I didn't know what to make of it.
God damn it! This is pissing me off.
I wanted to avoid the up and downs and just talk more about what they did positive for the season and what impact they made. But hey, Pods.
I want to give credit to Kevon Looney, who doesn't always get his number called, but is like the obvious most unsung warrior. 3 titles. He puts his body on the line. People don't remember he played with like a fractured rib or clavicle or something back at 5 years ago. He's just a baller, and I love Kevon Looney's game. I think he's a free agent as well. Hopefully he finally takes some money, and he had such a good run with the Warriors. He's an all-time Warrior to me. One of those like bench guys that we don't really have anymore that were just great role players when you need them.
That was the most memorable part of being at Game 3 I went to, is Kevon Looney came on, and they treated the home fans treated him like a rock star. Like it was, I was at a concert, and they brought on some superstar for one song, and they just, blew it out for him. They were just, do you believe Kevon Looney is on the floor right now? They were just so excited.
Like if Eddie Vedder shows up at a Springsteen show or something.
Exactly.
Nice.
Well, Quentin Post was just such a fun fan favorite to come out. And he was kind of like TJD last year, just splashed in there, made a huge impact. Very fun. Obviously didn't have the postseason we wanted. He had a few games that he showed up for, but
he was riding a lot of pine. He didn't get much run.
Yeah, his defense just couldn't figure it out. I think it got a little too complicated for him. And, once Steph went out, he needed Steph to open the floor up for him, and that didn't help. So, I look forward to seeing his development more as a player next year. And I think him and TJD, if they can start creating a dynamic, is going to be a good one, because having two big guys or bigger guys on the court for some rebounds will be a nice change of pace for a pretty scrappy Warrior team.
Cool. Well, I mean, we can go in depth on all these guys because we know the Warriors pretty well, but that might be a little niche.
I want to hear, Jake. We had texted about this about the Celtics going down, and Tatum. What a horrible fucking Achilles tear for a guy who's on a trajectory to be one of the greatest Celtics of all time. Still could be, and now he's out probably all of next year. Who knows how he'll be the year after that? I know people are have mixed feelings about his play, but the guy has a championship under his belt. They were for all intents and purposes the favorite until he went down. Even down against the Knicks.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about the Celtics team as being, on the slide in the wrong direction. You can't just go out and get a replacement tomorrow and relieve salary cap. And we were talking about who are the other teams that have had these, not necessarily injuries that have put in this position, but teams that have been so close to being a dynasty that wins multiple championships, like the Warriors, like the Niners had, where the Kansas City Chiefs have been, where it just takes one injury or something bad that happens, and then all of a sudden you didn't win those multiple championships when the time was right. Who else has struck you at that nerve?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the Tatum injury is I have another group of buddies. One's a hardcore Boston sports fan, one's hardcore New York, so they're talking shit to each other the whole time, which was very entertaining. But it it's nothing to say, ha, look what happened to you. When someone tears an Achilles, it's not a very joyful experience for anyone who enjoys sports at all. You don't even want your worst enemy to have that injury, because that, especially when it's a superstar, the game will hurt from that. And I think real Celtics fans think Jason Tatum is easily the most valuable player on the Celtics. Jaylen Brown makes a lot of money and gets a lot of credit, but he has no.
This has been Tatum's year too. Tatum carried the Celtics team a lot of the season. Jaylen Brown has been not as good as he's been, and he's been very much a playoff hero at times. But Tatum has been very consistency.
Without Tatum on the court, Brown isn't even close to the same guy.
Yeah. Well, do you guys remember in the Olympics, Tatum couldn't stay on the court, and he came in to the NBA season just with his hair on fire, and he was lighting it up.
Had a great year. And he's a hell of a player. So that sucks. It sucks for the NBA. Definitely sucks for the Celtics. But yeah, this team had a lot of people predicting that it was going to be a dynasty. I think that was kind of common knowledge or common thought around the league and for sports fans. And so my brain went to who else? What other teams is this comparable to? And I thought, obviously the Atlanta Braves in the 90s, they had just studs throughout. Their staff was unbelievable, but they ended up with one title, and that definitely should have been some kind of dynasty, or at least have multiple titles. Yeah. And also, I remember the Seahawks being put on a pedestal for years against the Niners. They'd always beat the Niners in the NFC Championship, which was, or they usually did, which was basically the Super Bowl. Like the Niners Cowboys in years past in the 90s. Yep. But the Seahawks only had that one, and the Patriots caught the good fortune of the Carroll choosing to throw on whatever down that was. Those are the two I thought of.
Similar to that from the one, if you're wondering.
I'll give you a couple of other ones, Jake. The Colts, they didn't even get a championship with Peyton Manning, did they?
They got one.
They got one.
They beat the Bears.
That's where they beat the Bears.
Beat the Bears, lots of Saints.
Yeah, right. But that's a very they should have gotten multiple, but they were into Tom Brady.
Terrible.
It was like a gimme.
Devin Hester returning kickoffs.
That's a great call, because Peyton was hyped as the best quarterback in football for years. never won shit really, and the 2 Super Bowls he did win, he wasn't that good in. So great call.
Yeah. And the other one that came to mind, which is a little lesser so, but still felt right because of the quality of the quarterback, is Drew Brees and the Saints. Now, they certainly didn't have the pedigree that the Colts had, but they, year in and year out, were one of the best offenses in the league because you look at Drew Brees' stats, and it's him, Tom Brady, and a handful of others at the top of every passing category of all time. They were always there. Their defense never quite was there.
Offensively, too. Their offensive weapons were always really good.
Really good. And they only got the one, which was against the Colts.
Right.
So those are the NFL teams. It's hard to come up with some baseball ones.
Chargers
were baseball ones
every year, and they didn't win any. So that was pretty rough.
Yeah. Joe, you got some. Oh, that's true. Like
the baseball team that I had, I really would have liked to have seen win a championship are the Cleveland Indians. Those mid-90s.
Yeah, good call.
They lost to that Braves team. They almost beat the Marlins in 97.
And they did.
And that offense, that lineup was really good.
It's potent.
Almar,
Kenny Lofton, Manny Ramirez.
Yeah.
Carlos Baerga.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy Alomar.
Yeah, it was a great team.
Actually, well, Joe, go ahead because I have another baseball one, but go. I think you probably have another one.
Baseball team that I don't know if I feel that passionate about, but the Rangers were pretty close in the 2010, 2011 era.
With Hamilton? Or
yeah, they got to the I think they went back to back.
Oh, they had Pudge and Juan Gonzalez, right?
Not Juan.
Yeah, they never really made it. No.
Juan was
the other one I was thinking of was actually the Cardinals when they had Pujols. I mean, it took them like they got one.
They got one.
But their best years, they always came up short. It was until they had kind of a quasi down year, and they ended up winning that season. It's kind of interesting how sometimes it's kind of like the Mavericks when they lost the Warriors, in like a really shitty year for them, when they had 60+ wins, and it wasn't until they came back in a year when they, looked like they were subpar, and then all of a sudden Dirk just ran the table. It was amazing. But yeah, and that's another team that you could argue got one during that whole span, and they were amazing.
We believe in them. Ha! Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Which is to your point, Jake, about the Warriors winning 4 championships. Yeah, we had 2 of those with KD. The other 2 are the magical ones where you're like, the first one was obviously the most incredible, and then 2022 was just like a gift. You kind of feel like everything else is frosting.
I think 22 was kind of similar to this year. It was whichever team didn't get injured, one was winning. There's a lot of injuries.
I have some feelings about the injury thing. I watch a lot of NBA regular season basketball, and then I watch a lot of postseason NBA basketball. The two have nothing to do with each other. I know, like it's kind of fashionable to be like, well, you gotta, be tough in the playoffs, and it's fun to see like two teams just going at it. I don't like it. It feels like, can we just get one sport throughout the season? I don't like this. It's a whole different thing. You're not allowed to foul, and then you are allowed to foul. It's like not even at all the same.
And they're 2 extremes. I think a happy medium would be great.
Yeah, the referee.
Why do we have to have playoff rules? I don't fucking get that.
I don't like it either.
These rules are
wholesale. Do I need them to like go to blows to be entertained? I do not.
Okay. Do you want James Harden though shooting 28 free throws every game in a regular season game?
No. I don't like James Harden basketball. It's horrible.
Yeah. So let's find a happy medium. Don't let them hit each other in the face, but stop calling LeBron flopping all the time or James Harden kicking out and falling over.
No, the flopping and the trying to bait people into fouls is garbage.
A little consistency would be nice. Jimmy Butler did not do well because he didn't get the foul calls he was getting all year. And that's how his game thrives. He gets a guy thinking, if I get touched, if I juke and get him to, bump me a little bit, I'm going to get a foul call. Then he gets that shot off a little easier.
I honestly think Jimmy wasn't quite right.
He wasn't right. He was indecisive. He didn't feel like the same guy.
He didn't have the energy. I can tell.
Yeah.
But it's also like all these injuries. Like you see all these injuries from Curry and Tatum and
and Dame's wasn't that an Achilles?
Dame
was an Achilles too.
His career might be over. He's old.
Yeah, everybody's getting injured. it's the length of the season. We don't need to be.
It's also the pace of the game. I think the Achilles tear wasn't really a big thing. It happened every once in a while to guys, but guys also their careers were a lot shorter. But the dynamic of the game, it's so much faster. You're moving at such a higher, quicker pace. So like your movement from one to the next is just getting to the point where you're so much more likely to have that be an injury.
I just listened.
Watch a game from the '80s and watch a game from this year, and it's like a different sport altogether. Like what they're doing these days, what Steph Curry does on the basketball floor is absolutely incredibly athletic. It's nothing like what they used to do. I hate to say it.
Okay, but there's also, why are they resting more now, but getting hurt way more now? Whereas in the old days, guys were playing 82 games, all of them.
Exactly what I'm saying. The game is way more physically challenging.
But there's a thing with the way they train now. Sports science makes guys get more muscular and have to work out harder, and there's more wear and tear through preparation, I think.
There's probably better diet though now too. Guys probably know how to take care of their bodies better. Yeah.
Back in the day, guys played more and didn't get hurt as much. Why? Yeah. How do you explain that?
I think it's a lot of it's just if you look at it like possession, total possessions, you go up into the court and you probably get in a hunt. I don't know how many, maybe it's 80 possessions a team a game, whatever that looks like. And it used to be more like 60, right? Like you just had less because you would walk it up more.
So the running style,
even when you're in a half court set, you're running and you're screening and you're doing big arching loops deep into 3-point territory and back and around. Whereas before you just kind of hang in the box.
Yeah,
the highest game of all time was the Nuggets and who was it? Maybe the Blazers. I don't know, but it was. There were teams that ran their asses off in the 80s.
What do you guys think? Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
No, I just think that style, the run and gun thing, has been around. Nelly did it in the late 80s, early 90s, and those guys weren't getting hurt all the time.
Yeah, but it's also just like, look at the geometry of it. It's not as wide and long. Like they're going layups.
That's what she said.
Hey, curious. What if the NBA said, fuck it, let's drop the 3-point line again. Fuck the 3-point line. Everything's a 2 again. Good for the NBA, bad for the NBA.
Man, I don't even know what that would do. That would shock the system.
I would shock the system. I think I think we'd get back to a different quality of basketball that's more in tune with what we are used to seeing. The 3-point line was created for the white man to stick around. The white man, whatever. It's kind of an even field now. I think it would create a much more fun mid-range and just more types of shots being taken than just threes and dunks and free throws. So I
agree wholeheartedly with that. That's just not a realistic option.
Hey, it ain't realistic. But
I'd love to fly on a unicorn and whatever. I don't want to get close to what I'd want, but it's just not going to happen.
It's not. But the NBA could use a little more encouragement for the mid-range to come back, because if the mid-range comes back, I think we stop seeing a lot of the injuries we're seeing right now.
Maybe move the line out more again. They've done that before.
It's possible,
but that also just widens the game. It just expands the space more, which
is great for the mid-range jumper. I want the mid-range jumper to come back because I miss the mid-range jumper.
What's the problem with widening the game, Joe? What's your viewpoint?
Yeah, maybe that's good. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, baseball.
Well, it is officially baseball season as of tonight. How are the Giants doing?
Fucking Giants. Ripping my heart out early.
Dude, I barely watched the Giants during this Warriors run. I stopped. I was so focused.
It was hard. I know. I'm just catching occasional YouTube highlights of the G's.
Box scores, man. I've never been like this. I gave up on watching the games and just checked box scores. It's such a delight. So much weight off my shoulders. Giants are kicking the shit out of the A's right now. Logan Webb with a gem.
Great. Everyone can be happy about that. High five, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe would rather just that there be no A's.
You guys buzzed out there for a second. They're beating the shit out of the ass.
Beating the shit out of the ass.
Fantastic.
Your boy Sears gave up 4 Ernies in 4 innings.
Wonderful. Get it, boys. Get it.
So, I mean, we could talk about Giants baseball, but we're just in that middle of the beginning.
Niners news today. There's the Warriors. Like we gotta cathartically get all that out. So Giants can wait.
Tell me about Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe. Joe, go.
Well, they reinstated Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson, who's been dead for about a century, into the MLB so that they could potentially get back into Hall of Fame consideration. And I find it a little curious. I don't know. They've had decades on the Pete Rose issue, and the guy dies, and they immediately move to make him eligible for the Hall of Fame. I just, I have mixed feelings, but I feel like they could have made a decision while the bloke was alive.
Yeah, I think it's kind of sick. I think it's kind of cruel. MLB's holier than thou attitude is bullshit. I mean, the fact that they did it so quickly after he died, like, who do you guys think you are, Manfred? Give me a break. It rubs me the wrong way for sure.
We need to get a black commissioner, let's be honest. Like, we need like a Moises Alou as the commissioner or something like that.
Well, it's just kind of annoying. Like, these guys in the Hall of Fame are like, oh, fantastic. We have Larry Walker and Todd Helton and Scott Rowland.
Yeah, go Rowland.
What's interesting are the personalities of baseball, like Pete Rose. That guy's interesting. That guy made baseball in the 70s and 60s and 80s when people really gave a shit about the sport. And he just shat right all over us. I just think it's just wrong, man. Like you're just you have no character when you're doing this. There's no sense of personality. It's just all numbers and did you or did you not cheat or take steroids or whatever. Boring.
It's a vanilla club of idiots is what it is. I mean, there's no soul in the game when it comes to the people who run the sport from an administrative standpoint.
Have you seen a Farhan squad? That guy puts together just spark personalities. Gabe Kapler is so open and honest. I mean, just talk about a couple of great leaders of a team. They showed me what baseball could be again.
Baseball needs a little bit of hockey in it or something like that. Like, we need to meld the two sports together so baseball can get some
allow
back.
full-on fights again. Like, when, remember when Will Clark got in a fight with Ozzie Smith and Jose Akindo after he slid into second?
We need more baseball fights. We need all that kind of just a little more greasy, grimy baseball. Like, as you're growing up, talk a little shit,
people's heads.
A little bit of Pinole Valley baseball.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's entertaining. This is entertainment. This is, that's what this is at the end of the day. I want to be entertained. I don't care about Scott Rowland getting in the Hall of Fame. I care about Pete Rose and Barry Bonds, and Roger Clemens getting into the Hall of Fame. Like
Manny Ramirez, A-Rod.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everyone who knows baseball can tell, like, guys who juiced and were good for a few years that aren't true great players. You're telling me Manny Ramirez doesn't belong in the Hall over fucking Scott Rowland? Like, is that a fucking joke?
Anybody who gets to play for the Cardinals gets an opportunity to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
because of the St. Louis Cardinals. They're baseball's team.
Craig Biggio and Bagwell were obvious non-Reuters. Bagwell, he didn't juice. No way.
Oh my God, that one's
because he's white. Like, what? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Bagwell, he should be a Hall of Famer, but chances are that guy juiced. And
you can't get a squat like that at the plate every day, 4 days, four squats a game without juicing.
I used to do look at a guy's forearms. That guy had some of the biggest forearms I've ever seen.
Oh, he juiced.
No doubt.
All right, guys. Well, let's wind down here. What are your thoughts on the rest of the baseball season? We got a long ways to go. Joe's Joe, I noticed in the pool we're in, I'm halfway down. I've lost a lot of ground.
Did you notice how I'm kicking ass? Is that what
I
you
saw?
say?
That's what I meant to say. Is Joe is at the top of the food chain.
I saw that I'm at a respectable position, and that's last time I think I was like second to last, so I'm happy right now.
I have a lot of games to keep up with now that I have like so many teams that I follow. So I've just been watching a lot of condensed games on MLB TV. It's fantastic.
Yeah, 10 minutes you're through it. It's amazing.
I'm just crushing game after game. I'm getting through like 5 a night.
Can I give you guys one great piece of advice for the rest of the year? Bet the spread against the Rockies. Bet the spread against the Rockies. They're going to be the worst team in MLB history this year.
That's pretty sad.
And since you said that, not going to be the case.
They might not win 30 baseball games.
Well, I do have a giant...
make the playoffs now.
In that division, not a chance.
All right, I do have a Giants question. It's a genuine Giants question. How do you guys feel about getting a wild card spot with this NL situation? I'm figuring you're not going to get the NL.
We're not winning the division.
I feel like the Padres or Dodgers are going to get the other wild card, and maybe you got 2 other teams. And I'm worried about, say, Philadelphia and Atlanta. Do you think you have a chance to squeeze in there with this Giant squad?
Well, the season's a mosaic. There's a lot of players that right now might not be playing at their potential. But eventually, you never know when the bats get hot and the gloves do their work. Maybe it'll be a different thing.
What is this, Marty Lurie? Who are we talking about?
Yeah. Jigs Marty Lurie is the best Marty Lurie.
That's pretty good if I could figure that out.
It's really good. It's
a mosaic.
It's phenomenal.
Giants I think have a shot. They need to change their offense is way too inconsistent. They have been bone dry for days at a time. And, people kind of saw that coming. They started off, I think, overperforming. And right now they might be underperforming to an extent. I think they're a slightly above 500 kind of club after it all shakes down. And hopefully they make a trade at the deadline. But, I'm happy with the energy around them in the new direction.
I honestly think if you look at the playoffs right now, Dodgers, Mets, Cubs, yep. San Diego, first wild card. Philadelphia, second wild card. And then the Giants are there in the third wild card. And, there's
that sounds
St.
about right.
Louis, Arizona, Atlanta, Cincinnati. All of those teams can catch the Giants. That's who they're up against. It's them versus those. That's the division this year.
I think it's in play, right?
It's in play. Yeah. But to Jake's point, you need to make it one trade for somebody else, whether it's a pitcher or one more big bat. And everybody needs to outperform just a little bit more than they have been lately, like they were in the beginning of the season. And clutch hitting, the Giants were outperforming so much on the clutch ABs.
Yes,
that wasn't sustainable.
Such a huge difference from last year, too.
Yeah.
Jordan Hicks also. There's calls to get him the hell out of town because
he's having a hard time.
Terrible.
I'd put him in the pen to let him get right. I put him in long relief.
Yeah, and Hayden Birdsong's killing it, and he's a starter by nature, so maybe throw him into a rotation spot.
The old switcheroo.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's fun to be back. Gotta say,
it's good to be back. It's good to be humming. It's good to be a daddy. And what's the? Let's talk Oakland roots. Who's their striker right now, Dave? Who's doing it for you at playing midfield? What's the goalkeeper sitch? Let's hear it. Home daddy. Home daddy. Adios.
What a night. We are not worthy. It's the third time he's gotten the home run hug from Willie Adames. It's 8-1.
What a night for Wilmer Flores, indeed. First 3 home run game of Wilmer Flores' career.